We all know the popular streaming apps such as Gaana, Spotify, Wynk, and the ones from the technology companies like YouTube Music, Apple Music, Amazon Music.
In the music business run by streaming apps,
there are only three stakeholders
or players in the business. Firstly, the streaming app company itself. Secondly, the musicians or artists
whose music we listen
in the app. And the third stakeholder
are the record label companies.
As we all know, the record label companies sign up the musicians and artists who are popular, who have a steady fan base and who have made a brand name of themselves. So what does the streaming
app company do?
They have made a deal with the record label companies
that the record label companies publish all of their music in the streaming
app, and in return, the streaming app company gives 70% of all of their earnings
back to the record label companies.
So, the record label companies are earning
a lot of money from these streaming
apps.
Now, let's talk about the popular musician and artists that these record label companies
sign contracts with. Firstly, I would like to mention
that all record label companies have their own distribution channels.
So when they sign a contract
with a popular musician, they
produce their music, and this music is being made available to millions of listeners all over the world through the distribution channels of the record label company. Now, these popular musicians also create a premium profile
on these streaming apps,
and that helps them to get a 40% or 50%, even 100% growth in their listeners' numbers. So how it helps is they already have a
steady fan base and a steady number of listeners through the record label company's own distribution channels. By creating a premium profile on the streaming apps, these musicians
also get a boost in their listeners,
a boost in their fan base, and their music becomes more popular because of the mobile phone
activation in various countries.
And eventually it also helps these popular musicians get more
concerts and
more sales
in their merchandise
business, people who are selling products through their YouTube business, or even international gigs and concerts. There's a visible increase in their professional growth, which is really nice. So these streaming
apps companies, they are doing a great work at
supporting these musicians who have worked hard to make a brand name for themselves. And let me repeat once again, from all this income that the streaming apps generate through
the premium profiles and also through various
ads available on the app, 70% of all of this income goes back to the record label
companies. So it's awesome for
all of these stakeholders.
One more thing, these musicians and artists who create premium profiles on the streaming app, they get
a
royalty fee from the record label company, and when they sign up with
the streaming app company,
they share a cut of
their royalty earning with the streaming app company.
The streaming app companies earn money
from the premium profiles as well as from the royalty cuts shared by the musicians.
Since the musicians share a cut of their royalty with the streaming app companies give extra boost and extra promotion to their
new music releases
whenever there is a music release. So that really helps the musicians in their listener growth and in their overall profile. Great.
Now, the major record label companies own
a part of these streaming apps. By that, I simply mean
basically if there is a business,
if there is a company,
if there are some investors, so investors put money in the business.
So when the business
grows, the company grows, the money
of the investors also grow. So all these record label
companies
own a part of these streaming app companies because they know if the streaming app companies become more popular,
these record companies'
valuation also improves and they make more money. By the way, there is a fourth segment of
stakeholders in this entire business. This fourth
segment consists of millions
of artists who are not so popular.
And before I talk about them,
I would like to summarize this business model with the three stakeholders, which is the record label companies, the popular musicians, and the streaming app
companies. Popular musicians are on record label companies,
and most of these record label companies own part of the streaming app companies.
Streaming app companies decide which
Musicians get promoted, and 70%
of all the
income they earn goes back to the record label companies.
Now let's talk about the musicians and artists
Who are not so popular, even if they are signed on by record label companies, and even if
they have made some significant hits in their segment of music. So the popular musicians and artists who are there
on the streaming apps, they generate a lot of money with their increase in concert
tickets and more new concerts, whereas the musicians
and artists who are not so popular, they also list their music in these streaming apps because these apps give them a critical mass of 1 million listeners. So their music also gets probably 1 million views and thousands of likes, but these musicians do not
generate enough money from
their streaming apps.
We are meeting with these musicians, artists, and we are talking to them
to see how we can partner with them to generate more wealth from their own work and how to build an ecosystem that financially supports
them to have significant
milestones in their career growth. Thank you
so much.